Welcome back, everybody, to Rob's MetalWorks. Oh, God, we are so happy this evening to be back in the home studio once again, supporting the best that San Antonio has to offer. Great pleasure tonight to welcome Spine Farm recording artists, the band that I know many of you people out there have heard about. Charcoal Tongue is here this evening. Welcome, Chris and Jordan, to the program. Great to have you guys here with us tonight.
Great to be here. Thank you.
And thanks for having us. Thank you.
Lots to talk about. God, I don't even know where to begin. But obviously, you guys released a brand new EP back in October, so we will get there. Chris, I have to start with you, man. I've known you for several years now, since the beginnings of Darkness Divided. And I know there's a lot of people out there who also came to know you at that time as an extraordinary guitarist. I mean, I was one of your biggest fans when you were swinging that axe, man, on stage. And I told you that many times off camera. But, poignantly, I have to ask you, when did you realize that you had to depart from the band Darkness Divided, that you started with your brothers, who I know you have a very close relationship with?
It's just took a while to realize that I didn't want to do that anymore. But it was in the middle of a tour, and I just started to feel really sure about what I wanted to do, and I just came home and just quit. It was pretty quick. So.
Was it, I know you have a family, but are you saying it was more of a musical kind of decision, more kind of driven by wanting to do something different musically, or was it just something that you just needed a break from? What was it?
Yeah, I just wanted to do something different musically, just completely start with a clean slate, and yeah.
So at that time, when you said, I'm out, was Charcoal Tongue already in the development, or were you still thinking about starting a new band at that time?
No, nothing really was in development. I just quit and then started right away on the new stuff, on the CT stuff.
How long after you left did you start doing that?
I guess you could say maybe I made a demo or two as I was in the process of quitting. So as soon as I was out, I might have had one or two, and I went ahead with that and just really started writing the week after or so.
Wow. Yeah. So pretty damn quick, huh?
Yeah. Oh yeah. So pretty much immediately.
And I think that's one of the great things about you. One of the things that I love about you is that you're you're not just a guitar player. You're a very well kind of seasoned and educated musician. You know a lot about the back end and the production. I mean, you could do your own demos. You didn't need anybody else to do them, and that's a great attribute to have.
Thanks. Yeah. I mean, it all just came together. As soon as I started playing guitar, I wanted to record my own demos and stuff. So I've always just wanted to it just came naturally. I want to be able to make my own stuff. So I just kept recording, and then I started to have fun in the process and just started to refine that, and now I do both things.
What was you mentioned it was fun, I guess doing music the reason we do music, the reason anybody does the things that we do for a passion, it has to be fulfilling for us, bring us that gratification, that happiness. What was it about doing your own music again that reinvigorated you and made you feel those things that you started doing music for in the first place?
Yeah, I just really felt like I got back to that. It's the reason I got into playing music. I had fun making up my own songs and, just going with the flow. And so that's what came naturally when I started, I'm going to do a new band. All the new stuff just came out pretty quickly, like super fast. And so it felt, that reinvigorated, fire, I love doing this, and I like the way it feels listening back to my own demos and stuff and in the process. And so I just kept doing it, and it never looked back.
We have to talk about, obviously, fans of Darkness Divided kind of knew what that style of metal was, pretty kind of straightforward, guitar-driven heaviness. Charcoal Tongue is not that. It's a totally different direction. So when you were starting to do your own music, what was that vision that you had musically? What differentiated what you were doing with Charcoal Tongue than what you were doing previously?
I don't know what changed. I mean, a lot can change in all that time. I was in that band for like 5 or 6 years. So the style that I was making was just naturally when I picked up a guitar or thought of an idea, that's the kind of stuff I was hearing in my head. You know, my imagination just led me to making this new sound that I have. I don't really know like what my vision was, I guess, at the beginning. I just kind of really heard this kind of vibe and just went with it. And it took a while to refine, you know, definitely missed the mark a few times, but it's still, all the ideas came out so fluidly, so easy, because there was no rules, you know, just do whatever. And that's what I ended up with. I tried to stick to, you know, the same kind of sonic, you know, try and keep it in the same ballpark, you know. So that's the only challenge, because when you're writing without like any rules and you just start with this kind of song and then this kind of song, you know, just try and keep it in the same like category, but it's all over the place. Yeah, like the whole album of CT stuff is just like, it just kind of shuffles through different kinds of styles and stuff, so it's pretty cool.
Very cool. I mean, it's definitely heavy. Okay, you got some heavy guitars in there. And then it just has so much like dynamics in there, like and a lot of sonic landscape. I remember when I got the EP from your publicist initially, I had to hear it like 3 or 4 times until I could really grasp all the things going on there. At first, I was just focusing on the guitars, and then I could hear all the things you were doing with your vocals too, man. So if someone says to you, Chris, what are you doing musically now? What do you say? What do you call it? I mean, you have to tell them something.
Yeah, I mean, like, what do I say about how it sounds, or how
do you describe it to them?
Like hard rock, like still metal though, you know, like it's still heavy, but it's more rock, it's more catchy, like more simple.
Yeah,
so.
Definitely a lot of great hooks in there. I also have to talk to you about, you know, when we started here, I mentioned the fact that, you know, I always admired you as a guitar player, and now I think too, when I saw the first video, I was like, oh shit, Chris is not playing guitar anymore. He's singing, lead singing for the band, and you know, your vocals sound great. And how difficult was it for you to make that kind of transition? Is that something you also kind of wanted to do, move away from guitar? Not that you're not playing guitar behind the scenes, but on stage you're singing for the band.
Yeah, I mean, I sang a little bit in the old band, like on the first record. I did a couple of things, and like that was the best thing ever. Like getting to like sing and then like figure out like, oh, this doesn't sound bad, and then hearing it back and stuff. Like that kind of sparked that flame to want to be a singer. But it was it is a difficult transition, because it's like, it's not like you're there and then the singer is over there and you've got your guitar and you're just focused on the notes, and you know, and then you're kind of moving around and stuff too. But being a singer, like you gotta have it down, you gotta practice it a bunch of times, and then you gotta like be right there. And it's just a way different thing to me than playing guitar. Guitar kind of just came more natural. I just go up there without practicing at all, just make sure, you know, everything's plugged in and just kind of go for it. It was a lot more natural. And with singing, it's like I gotta like pay attention to like, you know, what I'm eating or drinking right before performance or recording, and you know, practice and warm up, and it's way different. So like the first time we jammed, I was like, whoa, like I can't keep it through this whole set or whatever, you know, like even through a few songs. And then I had someone give me a lesson, and then I recorded more and practiced.
A vocal lesson?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then went through.
Because your throat would go out.
Yeah, because I don't think I was really. I had a good grasp on how to do it, and I liked the results, but I definitely wanted to make sure that I was doing it right, and like that's how noob of a singer I was. I was like, I don't really know if I'm doing this right, so like I went for that, and then after recording, and then we just went on our first tour, and it was like, you know, finally like, yeah, I feel pretty good about this, and you know, so that's a 2 years, you know, transition. I've learned. I listened back to the first song that I recorded, and then the tracks that we recorded last summer, and I'm like, yeah, it really does sound like there was a big improvement, and so it just takes a little bit of time, but it's cool.
Some would say that's the easy part of being a lead vocalist in a band. The hard part is fronting the band, being out on stage, leading the band, talking with the fans, introducing the songs, performing as the front man. That's a whole different role for you too. How much more difficult was that for you?
Pretty difficult. Well, it's just like a mental thing, you know. You got to have confidence and then go out there and be confident, and it'll show. And like the first few shows we did, like I wasn't confident, or as confident as I am now, and that's just something that I guess took a little bit of time. But yeah, that part is hard. It's like you know, my band members would tell me like, hey, you need to be like less awkward in between the songs,
Yeah.
or you know, really like try and be more laid back or whatever. And so it took a few tries, but then it got to the point where we're like telling each other, hey, it felt like it wasn't awkward up there. You know, it's pretty
Yeah.
cool. So we're getting there.
You guys released a brand new your debut EP in October called 24 Hours My Deterioration. 4 tracks, and there's so much to talk about with this EP. Let's first talk about conceptually. I know that this is a very deep record for you lyrically. You shared a lot about kind of some of the tribulations that you've gone through personally, and I know a little bit about that backstory because I'm your friend and I know you've known you for many years. But for those people out there tonight who are hearing about the concept for the first time, talk about what this initial EP is saying lyrically for you, or what did you want to kind of get across to the fans who are listening to this music?
I don't know if like there's anything in particular that I'm trying to like convey in the songs, like trying to like put a theme or anything, except for that at that time something big happened in my life. Like I was struggling with like depression or whatever, and I tried to commit suicide. I tried to overdose, and coming back from that was when I wrote all this music. And that's kind of just me going into some kind of like detail of what it felt like when I was having those thoughts, and just all the years leading up to that, all these feelings I felt like I needed to get out. But there's not a really like that's what I was feeling when I wrote it. But I think people will listen to it, probably think it means something else, or like it could apply to different things. But it's all about just kind of like that certain vibe that you felt whenever things were starting to like deteriorate, you know, crumble. And then the rest of the EPs have like different themes, and it kind of leads from like a dark place to a better place. And it's the first one is like the darker songs, like the creepier songs, the kind of that vibe. But there's not really anything trying to tell anybody exactly like with these first batch. It's more just like me writing what I was feeling at that time and just putting it into, you know, sonically how that kind of felt too. Like it has that vibe of what I was going through, like sonically, and then the lyrics just kind of detail that. And I don't know, it's kind of weird. It's hard to like really paraphrase like what the theme of it is, but it's all just like that downward kind of spiral kind of thing. And it's
Kind of bottoming out.
yeah, and it's just like, you know, stuff that I listened to it so much, you know, since I went through that experience, wrote it down, and then recorded it. It's like now I'm like, man, I don't really necessarily feel like that. Sometimes those thoughts come and go, you know, but I've learned a lot and grown as a person, and a lot of this was kind of more like back then stuff. But you know, that's how I got it out. That's how I kind of therapeutically, like, you know, put that experience in the past, was just writing what I felt, you know, throughout it. And you know, it's kind of weird looking back, like now, like putting it out there. It's like I kind of trying to shift my focus into the present, you know, not really talk about so much stuff that happened, but you know, a lot of other people are where I was, you know? And so they can listen into the lyrics and be like, dude, like I don't know why it is, but I know what you're talking about, but I can't describe it. And people have told me that same kind of thing several times, and it's just like, what does that mean? But they're saying, you know, like I feel the pain in your songs, I feel the emotion. And I'm just like, that's really all that it is. Yeah, it's just like it's just put into the songs. It doesn't have like a set like this is what this means exactly. Some of it does, but you know, like it's hard to really explain it. But
I'm glad you used the word therapeutic. I was about to ask you that, like, you know, how therapeutic was for you to kind of get this stuff out, to allow you to move forward on the road to recovery. We have to also talk about just how great this record sounds. You know, God, I listened to it on my stereo. I'm like, holy crap, it sounds great. So I crank it up. And I know, you know, you're a mastermind behind the scenes too. So talk a little bit about, for those people who don't know, about your production work and things that you did on the back end just to make this record sound so damn great.
Yeah, well, this one, we recorded it in Michigan with this dude, Josh Schroeder. And he mixed and mastered it, and he just knocked it out of the park. Yeah, I do my own productions. Like, I'll do all the demos, and I record a lot of other bands and stuff. But with this one, I really wanted to go out and record with someone else, and they produce us. You know, they tell us these songs that I had heard a million times. You know, oh, okay, this is what you should do here, and it was kind of cool because I kind of did pre-pro the whole album at home. Minus one song, and you know, I'd make the whole rough draft of how the song was going to be. So when we got there, it wasn't a lot of writing or, you know, filling in pieces. It was kind of like we had almost everything. We wrote one more song, and then it was like we got to focus on all that stuff, like how it sounds, you know, the mix, the tones, you know, all the arrangement stuff was pretty much done. So when we went and did that record with Josh, like, we flew through it, like, we had a great chemistry, and we even left early because, you know, we were just banging shit out, like, we had it good.
Well, I'm sure you know, he doesn't deal with musicians like yourself that often, maybe just guys who just do instruments, and you do both, you know, so you kind of really could connect with him on that production level too.
Yeah, it was cool. It was like, man, like watching another producer like do their work, one that, you know, I think is a lot, you know, more ahead of me and is a lot more experience under his belt, you know, like getting to kind of step into that, like, yeah, I you know, made these rough drafts of these songs, but then seeing someone else pull up my stems in their session and be like turning it up or like moving it around and then putting their own sounds on it and mixing it a different way. It was like, man, like we took what the demo sounded like and turned it up to, you know, what the album sounds like. It's like he helped us take it to that level. It's pretty cool.
Were you ever like, hey, slow down there, fella?
No, I don't think so.
Don't change my song that much.
Yeah, no, sometimes that'll happen, but I don't think we went through that.
Sure. You know, fans of the band who've kept up with the band on social media and online know that this 24 Hours My Deterioration is the first of a series of EPs that will come out. And for some of you people out there who don't know yet what we're talking about 24 Hours My Deterioration, the brand new EP that came out on October 20th. Be sure to look for it online right after you see this interview. It's out on Spine Farm Records, 4-song EP. You can get it in your hands tonight. Jam it. It kicks ass. So how many more EPs shall fans see from the band in the coming year?
2 more.
All right.
This will be 3 total.
Can you tell us a little bit about the next EP, the second EP? This one was The Dark Side. What will the new EP kind of talk about?
That one's called Monster in the Mirror, and it's like it's just gonna be a lot more chaotic, like faster, like more energy.
Wow.
Yeah, this one's kind of this whole EP is just one kind of groove, you know. It's like you're just bobbing your head. The next one's gonna be like more energetic.
Nice. Now, were these songs written at a different time period than My Deterioration?
I think the majority of the first batch of songs were written earlier than these new ones. Yeah, so I think it's like that.
Nice. And then, of course, this one will also be out on Spine Farm Records, and so will the subsequent EP after that?
Yeah, all through Spine Farm.
Right. So let's talk about Spine Farm. I mean, I was really kind of surprised. You know, really, I remember when I saw you at a Bang Bang Bar, you know, earlier in the year, and you were telling me, Rob, you know, we got a deal, and I was like, holy crap, really? That's amazing. So obviously these songs have made impact with people in the industry. And, my crew and I were talking like, God, it's so amazing that, these guys are getting the support that they need with a legitimate label, a legitimate publicist, legitimate management. That's awesome because you really need that kind of back engine to kind of help launch, some of this music and just get it into fans' ears. So how did the deal happen for Charcoal Tongue with Spine Farm?
It was passed over to them through one of my friends, who was like a music manager, and I showed him the new stuff because I was like, hey, like if you want to help out with this, I'm starting this new band, and he kind of shopped that around, and it happened like immediately. Like I had the one song, and it was just me. Sent that to him. He got some good feedback, and then it was when I made like the first EP, like the first 5 songs, that Spine Farm wanted to talk, and it was it was cool. Like there's someone there that just really believed in us and got us in front of them. We talked a little bit, and
Did they know that you used to be the guitar player for Darkness Divided?
Yeah, I think so. I think it came up.
Yeah,
that I was in another band. I'm not sure if they were familiar with them or not.
Yeah. And they obviously loved the music and said, "Hey, here's a deal. Let's do it."
Yeah, it was pretty quick.
Wow.
Yeah. And since then, like other people, like you said, have jumped on board. We got really good support right now. Like everyone on the team is really cool.
Talk a little bit about, just really quick, and Jordan, I'm going to get to you, my man. I'm going to get to you. Obviously, you have a really cool group of guys working with you on stage. Jordan, your drummer, is here tonight, but I know that you have a really cool kind of keyboardist guy, Jacob, and Luciano is part of your band, and I've seen footage of you guys play, very, intense kind of show. Not something that, not the traditional kind of metal or rock band that you see, but really kind of a dynamic vibe on stage. So share a little bit about if a fan goes to see you perform, what can they expect?
Yeah, it's dynamic. It's like you're going to like hear like something that's real groovy, and then hopefully something that's like fast and then more chilled out. And like all of our, our guitar player, Matt, and Chano, they bring it. They've been in bands and shit, so we try to bring it live. Hopefully it's like high energy but interesting too. You know, like I think people don't really mosh a lot to us. They're kind of just like watching. But I guess that could be because we're a new band too. But I think
they're still getting to know the songs and stuff.
True. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, no, I saw some of your footage, and I saw a lot of people rocking out and getting off to it. You guys have already kind of hit the road a little bit. And I remember I was really happy that I saw you guys on that 36 Crazy Fist tour with the last 10 Seconds of Life, and you guys doing kind of like this cross-country jaunt. It seemed like I was like, God, it's a great opportunity for you guys to get in front of a lot of people, and I'm really happy because you guys are a legitimate band out of this city, getting those opportunities to tour nationwide and to build that fan base for Charcoal Tongue. So what was the reception like for some of those shows? Jordan, were you part of some of those shows? What did you feel like was happening with the band on the road?
It was definitely a cool experience, a lot of stuff to be learned, especially going out with such an older band like 36 Crazy Fist. Definitely a lot of knowledge spread, but it was a really fun experience.
I correct me if I'm wrong. Did I see that you guys had like a little van trouble on the road? There's some technical difficulties. What happened there?
Yeah, we don't know what happened. We got van troubles. We showed up to
It happens.
Yeah, we broke down. We got towed to a mechanic. They said we had no oil in the van. We don't know how that happened. They said it didn't leak out, but we had just got an oil change. So something happened. Our engine just got destroyed, and we had to call it and just came home.
Yeah.
But to piggyback off that last question, like it was awesome though. Like I think the response was like it was good. Like people were like intrigued. At least and for seeing like a new young band like open a tour like that. So I think.
And y'all did shows in I saw photos. You guys were in Philadelphia, Boston. Was you Boston over there?
No, we didn't I don't think we did Boston.
But you were on the East Coast.
Yeah, we went and did Philadelphia, and like Florida was
Yeah.
down there and stuff. Yeah, it was cool.
It's cool because, you know, when I think of metal fans in the East Coast, they're very articulate metal fans. You know, these guys know music, and you know they're tough fans. And if they go see someone new, they know what they're looking for. So if you guys garnish some respect out there, man, that's great news, because those people know music.
Yeah, there were some cool people that came out to see 36. Like they were all pretty receptive to our band too. Like it was cool.
And I even saw that you guys even opened some shows for Darkness Divided too.
Yeah, we played some shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you feel about that, kind of being on your own now, away from your brothers, doing your own thing? Was that kind of awkward for you, or you're like, oh, you know?
It's cool. It's really cool. It's not awkward. It's not awkward like I thought it
You
would
feel
be.
liberated?
I guess so, yeah.
Is that the right word to say, liberated? Because you are the youngest?
Yeah. Yeah,
The youngest brother. The rebel.
Yeah, the rebel, yeah.
The rebel. The mastermind. Yes, that's great, man. Also, I saw that y'all did a really cool video for the first single, Fix Me. Yep. I dig that video. I've watched it a lot of times. For all you people out there, be sure to look for it. Cool video, man. Tell us a little bit about the video.
Yeah, Jacob made that video. Me and him just one day we just made all the imagery and stuff, like with the pills and everything, and then he took it and just made it look what it looks like visually. That's the vibe we were going for. This real like chemical, like white and blue, like just real sleek look. And then we kept everyone as a silhouette, because at the time like Jordan wasn't drumming for us. Jacob just did both, and now we have like pictures and stuff of us, but before that it was just, that was all we had, was just like the silhouette kind of thing. But yeah, you know, Jacob, he's really good with video and visual stuff, so he was able to throw that together, and that's that.
Would you like to do another video? And if so, which track would you do it for?
Yeah, we have one that we just filmed for My Deeds, the first song on the EP.
Is it out already or no?
No, it hasn't come out yet.
Okay, I haven't seen it. What I missed it?
Yeah, we'll post it when it's
Cool.
done.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So, you know, everybody's about to take a break for the holidays. You know, Christmas is right around the corner. 2018 is upon us. Obviously, you know, you mentioned that the new EP will come out hopefully maybe in the spring or late spring. What would you like to accomplish with Charcoal Tongue for 2018? What do you foresee? What would you like to happen?
Love to get back on the road, you know, just try and get out there and lay the foundation. You know, like we're super brand new, and we want to get out there and meet people and make connections and stuff, and then put out the rest of this music. You know, like I'm really eager to get it out and, you know, make it happen.
Chris, I love, I've always loved everything you've done, man. You know, because I know that, you know, you're just a smart dude, and I like sharp dudes, and I like artists, and you are a true artist. Please don't ever think otherwise. And I love what you're doing now on your own with your new band. Any last words? Anything that we missed? Anything that we should have shared about Charcoal Tongue with the fans around the world who will see this interview?
No, that's pretty much it. Thank you for the kind words about the music and stuff.
I love it. Jordan, any last words? Anything you want to share?
No, sir. Just thanks for the experience and the time.
Yeah,
much
cool.
appreciated. Yeah. Be on the lookout for CT.
All right. Okay. So as we end out, you know, obviously, let's tell these people out there who want to get the EP in their hands tonight. Where can they go online to go get it?
Anywhere, you know, like Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon,
iTunes?
like whatever else. Yeah, iTunes, whatever people use to get music, it's everywhere except for like it's not at stores.
I'm an Apple slut. I do iTunes. That's all I care about is iTunes. People say Spotify, and I'm like, what? Who cares about Spotify? Listen to iTunes. Yeah, all you people out there, go out and get it this evening when you watch the interview. Check it out, jam it, man. You got to support one of the best right out of here in San Antonio and in Texas. You saw Chris Mora and Jordan of the band Charcoal Tongue, only right here on Rob's MetalWorks.